Welcome to all my travelers out there. I am your host, Darren Beckett, and this is the Global Travel Podcast. For those who do not know my travel resume, I've been to 13 states, 15 countries on 5 different continents, but it is not about me. Here, we are giving you quality travel tips, insights, and recommendations on all the best destinations for ideas to enjoy your vacations. With that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. We are all clear for takeoff. Before we reach our destination, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, click the bell, and if you could do me a huge favor, at the bottom in the comment section below, type in the words, "I got my ticket." And at the end of the show, I'm going to come back, respond, and see how your experience went with us. All right. So with that being said, on today's episode, we are taking a trip to Serbia. So make sure you got your passports, your earphones, and something to snack on. We have a special guest here with us today. And before I introduce him, let me just say this. Now, when it comes to travel, every time I'm on IG, I see him on a plane going somewhere. This individual has been to 35 states and 20 plus countries. So if you want to know a thing or two about Serbia, pay attention. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Mr. Ray Mckenzie, aka my frat brother. So what's going on with you, New?
How's it going, yo? How are you doing, man? Good to talk to you. Thank you for having me.
Man, thank you for being a guest, brother. Much appreciated, man. I know you got a wealth of information when it comes to travel. We were just talking about books and whatnot, so you just got just a wealth of information in general. So that's always good. So tell our listeners and our travelers, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What do you do? X, Y, and Z, travels, hobbies, all that good stuff.
Gosh, yeah. So let's see. I'm from a small town in Northern California called Atwater, California. It's about 25,000, 30,000 people. Um, we grew up there. My parents were Air Force, which is why how we ended up at Castle Air Force Base. Grew up there, and then went to San Diego State.
Mm-hmm,
So we went to the same school.
mm-hmm,
Studied management information systems. Upon finishing college, then moved to the Bay Area.
mm-hmm,
Myself and my wife, um, and then we were up. She's from San Jose, and so from there, that kind of started my corporate career. You
mm-hmm,
know, a corporate career working for early stage companies in technology right out of college. Uh, I was a system administrator, network administrator. That's kind of how my career started. And then it morphed into working with external customers in a form of service delivery, support, account management, professional services, sales engineering, things like that. And early in my career, I had the benefit of working with great people. And
mm-hmm,
we were a young executive team and doing great things. And we had wild success early. The company kind of grew massively, and then we went through an acquisition early in the career, and that kind of really started a lot of my travel in just personally and with my career.
mm-hmm,
So I was on the plane from San Francisco, Washington D.C. almost every 2 weeks. Um, and leading teams between San Francisco and Washington D.C.
mm-hmm,
And then as my career continued to grow, then I started hopping the planes and meeting with clients and customers and sitting in meetings and all types of stuff like that. Um, so then, that started kind of over the next 10 to 13 years of just consistent travel, just
mm-hmm,
consistent travel all the time. It was a matter of just handling business for the most part. I mean, my wife and I, we had our honeymoon in Nassau in the Bahamas, which was
nice.
fun. Uh, so that was kind of my first international trip when we were really young. Uh, but then my corporate career kind of took me everywhere
Mm-hmm,
from
mm-hmm,
there. And so, once you get on a plane, it's kind of like, okay, well, great. Now I can get wherever I need to get and
yep,
just a little bit faster.
yep.
So that opened it up a bit. And then career wise, gosh, that took me over the course of the next 15 years working for corporations, early stage companies, along with publicly traded companies. And then 6 years ago, I started my own management consulting firm, Red Beach Advisors, um, which focuses on strategy, operational efficiency, and digital transformation through technology. And then a year ago, I decided to start my own software as a service startup. And that's a company named Starting Point, and that's solving the disconnected customer experience for professional services companies and teams. And so we built that. We've launched that May 30th. But now we're in the midst of COVID, so nobody's doing too much travel. Some people are going to specific destinations, of course, but yeah, I think this is probably the longest I've been home in about, let's say, 17, 18 years.
Yeah, same here, man. Well, I don't know about that long, but it's been a while, man. I've been feeling a little homesick. Homesick for me is traveling. So when I'm traveling, I feel like me again. I feel normal. So I know what you mean. So speaking of where have you been, as far as the United States, we're gonna stay in the United States for a hot second. What's some of the states? You don't have to name all of them, but what are some of the states that you recommend folks to go to?
Recommend. Um, I like Louisiana for the food.
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans is a fantastic place.
Mm-hmm.
The culture, the food mainly. Um, I'll start with this. My top, I like to do a few different things. So,
Okay.
when I'm traveling, usually traveling because I want to experience the food. Um, so
Mm-hmm.
food, my top three list of food cities in the United States are New Orleans is one, Chicago is two, and Seattle is three.
Okay. So I know about Louisiana, of course. I got family out there. I heard Chicago is one of the top food places to go to. But let's go to Seattle. I didn't hear too much about Seattle. What do you recommend to eat in Seattle? That's interesting.
That's probably the best seafood.
Oh, seafood.
I personally think the best seafood that you can get. Um, yeah, I'd have to say probably the best seafood you can get. I mean, obviously people are aware of Pike's Market,
Uh-huh.
where kind of if you watch the shows, that's where they throw the fish and people catch the fish and stuff like that and
Uh-huh.
all that great stuff. But the seafood boils, the cuisine, it's fantastic, man. You have a bunch of restaurants out there. Um, it's just pure, it's fresh. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a really good culture. There's some really good restaurants out there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, just the seafood. So if you're a seafood like fan, you
Mm-hmm.
you want to take a trip to Seattle.
So any particular dish or restaurant that you could think of off the top of your head that you would
Um, that was seafood related. I would just go to Pike's Market,
Pike's Market.
right there, and
Mm-hmm.
you'll get whatever you want from any of those restaurants.
Okay, Pike's Market. Y'all got that Pike's Market.
In Seattle.
Okay.
Go right downtown to Pike's Market. It's kind of the world famous. So whenever you see anybody in Seattle, if you watch any sport, they're usually showing a clip of people being at Pike's Market. That's where everything's at. So you go there, you'll get whatever seafood you want.
Okay. Y'all heard that, man. Definitely go to when you go to Seattle, hit Pike's Market, get you some seafood if you're into that. And then what about Chi-Town? What's up in there? I know pizza, deep dish pizza. What you got going for us?
Chicago, man, you can get almost anything you want.
Yeah.
Outside of and you can even get great seafood there, surprisingly. So,
Oh.
um, yeah, man, Chicago. Yeah, let's see. You've got the staples, which is obviously the deep dish pizza. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'd probably say Lou Malnati's is my favorite. Now,
That's the pizza. That's the name of the pizza spot, Luminati's.
Lou Malnati's is one.
Okay.
Knows East is another. Giordano's is another.
I heard of Giordano's.
I like Lou Malnati's, but hey, it's all fantastic. So you can get the deep dish pizza,
Mm-hmm.
you get the Garrett's popcorn,
Mm-hmm.
get the Polish sausages, which are fantastic. You can also get Harold's chicken, which is really really good fried chicken. And then you can go right into kind of Rush Street area. And then you've got, Gibson's is a great steakhouse.
Mm-hmm.
You've got, Hugo's Fish Bar and Frog House. Um, and that's where they've got frog legs and all that stuff. Anything you want in Chicago, you can really get, man.
Yeah.
Carmine's is really good. There's a lot of great restaurants there. Like that's
Yeah.
why it's number two on my list.
I got you. I like that. And I hear, of course you hear about the deep dish pizza. And then yeah, other places that you name, the other foods that you can get, that's always good, get diversity and whatnot. I think yeah, that I need to hit Chicago up. I haven't been there yet, so on my bucket list. And then now question, have you been to New York?
I've been in. Well, my oldest son actually goes to school in New York, so
So the
get out.
pizza. What pizza would you compare pizza? The New York, or I mean, I'm assuming you're gonna go with Chicago since that's number two on your list. But far as just the pizza,
Chicago pizza.
Chicago,
Yeah, Chicago pizza. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
New York probably you can get the best of everything in New York, but
Hmm.
I do like Chicago because it's kind of Chicago deep dish pizza is probably preferred.
That's the okay.
For me.
Okay, cool, cool. And then what other states that you recommend that people go to that's off the radar scale? You know, not a lot of folks when California, about Texas and New York and Florida. What are some of the off beaten path states that you recommend?
Oh gosh, I took a trip to uh, South Carolina last year. I was in South
Mm,
Carolina for probably
okay.
time, and I went down to Myrtle Beach. So Myrtle Beach is very similar to like a Reno, Nevada, if you've ever been to Reno. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's on the beach, of course, and
Mm-hmm.
it's touristy. It's very touristy. So most of the people that
Okay.
live in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, are not from Myrtle Beach. They're from the Northeast. So everybody goes south to retire. But
Mm-hmm.
then there's an area of South Carolina near Myrtle Beach, which is called Murrells Inlet, and it's more native South Carolina. So it's like the people who are actually from South Carolina live in that area, and so they've got some
Mm-hmm.
really good restaurants out there, like right fresh, farm fresh to table, whatever, great seafood. And so that was
Mm-hmm.
that was interesting. So if you ever go to Myrtle Beach,
Mm-hmm.
have them take you, maybe I want to say it may have been 15-20 minutes away, but Murrells Inlet is the kind of the area in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some really good seafood restaurants that are native to South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte is also a really good city.
Okay,
Uh,
Charlotte.
I enjoyed my time. I was there last year. It's growing, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's growing. One of my buddies out there owns a taco shop. It's called White Duck Tacos. It's really
White
good.
duck
It's kind of
tacos.
custom tacos. But Charlotte's downtown area is really nice. A lot of really good restaurants there. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good Carolina barbecue too.
Okay. Oh, barbecue.
That's really good. Um, and I think people have probably been to Washington D.C. in that area, so I won't touch on that so much.
Mm-hmm.
But I go into a city that I kind of like, kind of don't like, but they have good food is St. Louis. St. Louis has
Oh,
really good. There's some really good barbecue there.
okay. Okay.
Really good Creole places that are there. Um, and so there was a place, what's it called? The Shaved Duck,
Okay.
based in St. Louis, and they have like an amazing barbecue.
Really? So let me ask you, when it comes to barbecue, let me ask you this. What is your favorite barbecue spot? What state is it in? Who you think got the best barbecue?
Um, I'd probably have to go with that place in St. Louis right now.
Uh,
I would
Kill 'em.
go with that place in St. Louis. I mean, I've had Texas barbecue. Um,
Memphis. Did you try Memphis?
I've never actually been to Memphis. I've only been to
Okay.
Nashville, so I've been
Okay.
to
All right.
been to Memphis, but that's obviously on the list.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
St. Louis is probably it right now. I'll probably say.
St. Louis. What? Okay, I'm gonna have to try because I'm a barbecue fan. I like barbecue, so I'm gonna have to try St. Louis. All right. So make sure y'all when y'all hit St. Louis, check out the barbecue. They got good barbecue. So okay, cool, cool. As far as other state, we'll probably hit another couple states before we head out internationally. Anything else you want to talk about that's off the beaten path? Any other states that you'd like to cover real quick?
Off the beaten path. I was in Delaware. I didn't find anything in Delaware. I'm not gonna play around. I didn't find anything in Delaware.
Don't go to Delaware.
Yeah, I didn't find anything. Sorry for those listeners who didn't do
No, 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 no. I do know in Delaware they don't pay sales taxes. I think it's one of them taxes. I don't think it's sales
Maybe
tax.
the only thing I saw was like an Outback Steakhouse and
Oh,
the regular chain restaurant. So I wasn't necessarily thrilled with that.
okay.
Let's see what other places would stick out. Um, I like Texas a lot. Texas has a lot of good places, but that's not off the beaten path. In Albuquerque, New Mexico,
Okay. Okay.
they have this thing that's called kind of people have made it in different areas called Frisco or Frisco pie or Frito pie. It's Frito pie.
Frito. What's that about?
So it's like
Interesting.
yeah, yeah, Frito pie. So it's like like street fair food. So if you've ever,
Mm-hmm.
oh, yeah, I'm sure here in California, late night eating, you can go to the stand and get a hot dog or get some tacos or get whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
Frito pie in Albuquerque, they have these kind of stands where it's just like a bed of Fritos, and then it's like beans and lettuce and cheese and sour cream and whatever, whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
that was actually it's late night food.
Right, right.
But that was what was unique to Albuquerque to a certain extent. And then that's a big Tex-Mex place. So if you like Tex-Mex, that's kind of a good place to go. Um, yeah, I'd probably say those places have been really good.
Okay.
Or the
Okay.
different experience. Really, when you're eating food, it's
Mm-hmm.
really all about the different experiences and things you have going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's really what makes the moment is
Mm-hmm.
like what did I experience when I was in such and such in Oregon? What did I experience when I was in Montana? What did I
Mm-hmm.
experience when I was in Illinois? What did I experience when I was in Alabama? Those are the things that you really that make you stick out. And for me, since when I travel I like to go eat, that's the big thing. I want to see what restaurants are there. I don't really care too much about I'm not a tourist. I don't really care to sightsee. I don't, you can send me a postcard for that stuff. Or I can see it on Google Maps or whatever. But to
Right.
experience the food is really the driver for me when I'm traveling. Like I want to hit the ground and I
Mm-hmm.
want to go to the restaurants and
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what's on the menu and how things go. And so that's really it, man.
I like that. I like, and I always try to tell our travelers, and I always try to mention that, when you travel, try the food. I think is a very, very important process or part of traveling. That's one of the things that you must do, of course. And I always recommend wherever you at, eat the local food. Don't just try to find a McDonald's because that's what you know, and that's if it's safe to you in another country, you looking for McDonald's or something. And be quite honest with you, that McDonald's don't even taste like the McDonald's here. So it's like I don't even it's definitely different, I can tell you that.
If
So
you're
what
gonna
it what
travel, my recommendation, if you're gonna travel,
hmm
definitely try to enjoy the local fare. That's
hmm
mandatory. Like, and not just the whole, hey, I'm just gonna eat at a restaurant and order the salmon,
hmm
order the grilled chicken.
uh-huh.
Like, step out of the box a little bit, find out what's native, and just ask the waitress or waiter. Say, hey, what do you recommend, or what is unique to this place?
That part.
Try that. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Then
That
if it does work, then that's great. But if it doesn't work, then you can always, like you said, go to McDonald's if you want or something like that.
Yeah, you may even ask the wait, what, waiter or waitress, I don't really, I tried this recommendation. I don't really like it too much, I'll be honest, but I'm gonna just go ahead and go to something else. So, try something else. Like I said, just try it all, man. You never know. I've tried, I don't the craziest thing I've tried is like escargot and caviar. That's crazy to me. What about what about you? What's like the craziest thing, the strangest thing that you tried food wise?
Um, Interesting enough, I had crickets.
Was you in Asia?
No, I was right here. I was in Long Beach. Crazy enough, like I mean,
Crickets.
they had crickets. I mean, I just it was just on the menu. So if you go, I just like to try different things. I just always do. So it's just, hey, this is something new that's on the menu. Let's do it. I mean, and so they have crickets at this place. I forget what the name of it is. Um, yeah, it'll come to me. But
hmm
yeah, it's a small little restaurant in Long Beach. It's actually really good. Um,
hmm
and it's a Mexican Spanish fusion restaurant,
Okay.
and that's probably it. It was an appetizer,
hmm
and it was just fried crickets and
Yep.
like some chili limon spice. and you just eat them and pop them.
What it tastes like? Do it taste like anything, or just taste like
Not
crickets?
really. It tastes like just kind of chips, kind of to a certain extent. It's
Okay.
chips, nothing too crazy, I guess. Um, I'm
Okay.
not, not a big. There used to be a restaurant in Santa Monica that had insects as kind of their
Ooh.
primary thing. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. Like, but I'd probably do it. I don't know, man. Like
You
I'm
close.
not eating
Crickets.
like
You right there.
not eating like spiders or nothing like that. But I'd be willing to try what's out there, man. I mean, it's fine with me.
Well, if you go to Asia, they got stuff like bat, like like
Yeah,
bat on the stick,
I
like a
think
bat. Oh,
yeah, I think I'm okay right now. I think right now, I think I'm okay.
ah,
Yeah,
you got limits, huh? Wait a minute. But crickets, though, if y'all want to try crickets, crickets are high in protein. High in protein.
they
So
are. They are. Like, it's just a guy had told me maybe 6 years ago. He was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about making a cricket protein powder," and I was like, "Crickets?
hmm
What are you getting at?" And they were like, "Yeah, they're high in protein." I didn't know, but I was like, "Yeah." So pretty much, they
yeah.
take a thing of crickets, they fry the crickets, and then you just pop them and eat them,
See,
and
yeah, it's
that's how it works.
there you go. Yeah. If you ain't never tried it, don't knock until you try it. I'll try it. I would try it. I ain't gonna lie. Now there's limits for me. Like you said, that bat, I'm not messing with no bat. I think they eat, I've seen scorpions that, I don't know where
Yeah,
in Asia, but I've seen scorpions. So it's a lot of things that I probably wouldn't test out myself. But hey, you just live and learn. You never know. But cool. All right. So we test a lot of places in the States. Now, of course, we're on our way to Serbia. But before we hit to Serbia, what other countries have you been to that you recommend folks to go?
gosh, man. I've spent a lot of time. Well, Mexico's one place, but I think a lot of people, for us, have we've been probably been to Mexico. Uh,
Hmm.
Canada, I've been to Canada, of course.
Oh, tell us
Um,
about Canada. We don't know too much about Canada.
oh, I used to spend quite a bit of time. I've been to Vancouver, I've been to Calgary, uh,
Hmm.
Edmonton, and Montreal.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh, hey, in Canada, did you have I forgot what it's called, but I
Poutine,
said you're a foodie. What is it called?
poutine.
Is it with like gravy over some fries or something like that? Poutine. Talk about the poutine. I don't know what it is. I heard about it, but talk to us about the
And
poutine.
it depends really on where you go. Like,
Uh-huh.
okay, so poutine is ideally in everywhere I've been. It's like a bed of fries,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have gravy on top of your fry,
Mm-hmm.
cheese,
Mm-hmm.
cheese. And so, but then you can also mix and match stuff. So you can get, whatever you want on your poutine, depending upon places you can get it. I haven't found a place in the North America that has poutine that's like Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
with that, it's like you can get it with cheese curds, you can get it with like melted cheese, cheddar cheese, you can get it with like gravy of some sort. You can get it with almost any kind of, depending upon places you go, there are regular poutine shops.
Mm-hmm.
And probably the best place I've been to that had it was Montreal.
Montreal.
And Montreal is different than some of the other places in Canada simply because they're primarily French speaking. So
Oh,
it's French,
oh,
it's French Canadian.
right,
So
right, right.
it's kind of a different province, different state, different city.
Okay.
But I liked it. They got amazing food there. So if you want to go to Montreal, you typically go. There's a period of like 6 weeks, I want to say, in like late June to like end of July,
Mm-hmm.
or either sometime between June, July, and August, to where they have a series of festivals.
Mm-hmm.
Every week is a different festival.
Mm. Wow.
And so it's a different festival in terms of music and culture. So
Mm-hmm.
they'll have like a jazz festival, then they'll have like a rock festival, then they'll have something else and something else. And so if you look that up, Montreal's a fantastic city to go to.
Mm-hmm.
People are, they're relatively nice, great restaurants, great food. Obviously, it is a different culture because somewhere you go, when you go in Canada, places will be just very American, Americanized for the most part, with
Okay.
with a hint of being Canadian.
Okay.
Whereas Montreal is like French Canadian, Most people there speak French, um, and that's kind of where they land. So but poutine is really good. I like it.
Hmm.
It's one of those things, just fries, cheese, and gravy.
Hmm.
And you can get other stuff on top of it. And you can pick the different type of cheese. Some restaurants, more American restaurants, have started to have it like on their menus,
Okay.
like an appetizer.
Okay.
Um, but it's not. It hasn't been the same. So
Of course.
it just hasn't really been the same.
Of course.
But there's really good places up there.
Hmm.
It just depends. Every city is a little different.
Right, right, of course. So when we're in Canada, y'all, if y'all in Canada, stop at in Montreal, get you some poutine. Poutine is fries with gravy and cheese to your liking, add some other stuff on there. So yeah, get you a poutine in Montreal. And then all right, now that we didn't touch Canada, what other country before we head to Serbia, what other countries can you recommend?
Gosh, I mean, it kind of depends on what you like a bit.
Hmm.
Used to spend a lot of time in London, um, and I like London a lot. But I like London for kind of the melting pot of the culture,
Hmm.
not so much the food. Um,
Okay.
the restaurant with the crickets that's in Long Beach is called Playa Amor,
Okay, okay,
and that's in Long Beach, California, or Long Beach / Seal Beach.
okay.
It's in between.
Right, right.
Um, but to London, it's the culture. It's a melting pot.
Hmm.
Get a little bit of everything that's over there. Um, Strange enough, I mean, granted, London is like a metropolitan city, so you've got London, you've got New York, you've got LA, you've got San Francisco, Tokyo that I've never been to.
Mm-hmm.
There's, it's a major city, so you get a little bit of everything.
Hmm.
You get all races, all religions, the background of everything. It's kind of a melting pot of
Hmm.
activity. It's probably the place with the worst food on an overall scale. I'd,
Yeah.
I'd say, but on the flip side of that, it's probably the city with the best Indian food in the world. So,
Indian food. Okay.
so it's because there's a lot of people from India that have migrated to London.
Hmm.
It probably has like the best Indian food. Is almost like the cultural food of London. It's really, 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 really good there.
Okay. Right.
Um, but on the flip side of that, you also get the British fare, which you
Hmm.
also gotta try. So you get the fish and chips,
Yep.
the mushy peas,
Yeah.
the shepherd's pie, um, and that stuff isn't that good. Sorry. it just doesn't. It just doesn't have. It doesn't have the flavor to it. There's no
Right.
flavor. Uh, and then I went to one time I was out there and I went to a Mexican restaurant in London, and it had to be probably the worst Mexican I've ever had in my life.
I'm sure because we in Southern California, so we close to the border,
Oh,
so we spoiled when it comes to Mexican food.
I mean, it was bad. It was bad. I mean, I've had some bad, very regular Mexican food, um, but that was bad. It was really really bad, and so and it was a relatively popular restaurant, which was strange. But I think it probably was popular because it had tequila more less
uh,
so than it did the food because the food was just not that good.
right, right, right. And you know what? Sometimes food is overrated. Even though it's popular in places and whatnot. Because I think I don't know if you've ever been to Phil's Barbecue.
Where?
It's in San Diego. They
No,
probably have.
no, 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 no. I haven't.
Okay, okay. That's one of the restaurants, in my opinion. Um, I've had better barbecue, but it's one of those places that's real popular. The lines is out the door, and I don't know if it's worth the wait, me personally, but I mean, it's one of those spots that a lot of folks in San Diego like or tourists go to. So, I mean, that's just one of those things. Sometimes
I,
spots is
I've never even. It's many times we've been in San Diego together.
yeah.
People I've been to San Diego. I've
Hmm.
never heard anybody be like, "Hey, let's go to Phil's Barbecue."
Right, exactly.
And so
Exactly.
I've never been there.
Right.
So I don't want to knock it. I'm just saying I've never been, nor have people suggested it. So
Hmm,
I'd
hmm.
definitely be willing to try it out, of course.
It's something to try, I guess. Like I said, it's just one of those popular. Like my auntie, she come down and she just love it. She just think it's the best thing in the world. She in Vegas. Well, she from LA, but I don't know why she like that. But anyways, yeah. That's just
Like
one of the things.
I could go up to like Everton Jones in Oakland.
Yeah.
Everton Jones is amazing barbecue in
Okay.
California. Amazing,
Okay. Hmm,
amazing. And
hmm.
so, like that's kind of the standard for me. It's either better or it's not as good. Everton Jones is extremely good, man. I love it.
Okay. Okay, cool. So, as y'all can hear, man, we talking about food on this episode. So this is probably this is my type of show right here. So yeah, definitely. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we are now officially landed in Serbia. So welcome. And now that we are here in Serbia, Ray, what can you tell us about Serbia? Of course, let's start with the food since that's the topic of the day.
Yeah, like so Serbia, how I ended up getting out there, and I used to go out there once a month for like 18 months, so a year and a half.
Mm,
So LA to Belgrade, Belgrade to Munich and Frankfurt, Frankfurt,
mm,
Munich and Frankfurt to London, and then London back to LA once a month. So
mm.
racking up the miles, racking up all that stuff. So it was an interesting time. It was fun. Um, I'd say for those wanting to go out there, I would definitely recommend going. I actually,
Mhm.
I actually love it. Um, you fly from California or wherever you're at, you're probably going to land in Frankfurt, Germany, or
Okay.
Munich. And then once you go there, you'll hop a flight over to Belgrade. You know,
Uh-huh.
Belgrade, and there's a bunch of other cities in the area. The rap, for Belgrade or the rap for Serbia is kind of based around some of the, I'd say, 90s political activity, government activity across the world. There was
Mhm.
a war, the Bosnian War, that occurred in
Mm,
the 90s.
mhm.
And so the U.S. did play a role in that. I don't know if most of your followers are in the U.S. or not, but the history between the U.S. and Serbia has been a little shaky over time, and it's gotten much better over the years. So it's much
Mhm.
better.
Okay.
But there is history there. There's history of bombings. There's history of, gosh, I used to stay at this hotel called the Falkensteiner, which is a really nice hotel
Uh-huh.
right in kind of what they call New Belgrade.
Okay.
And shoot, you look out the window and you see like an empty field, empty green park, and there's like a playground right in the middle of it.
Uh-huh.
But when you ask the locals the history of it, that used to be where the Japanese embassy was.
Mm.
So now that's gone. That's gone. That's
Right.
so there is a large history of war. When I first started going over there and I check in on Facebook, people would be like, "What are you doing over in Belgrade?" I think you see it from time to time.
Yeah.
Because I would go over there once a month,
Right.
and one of my buddies, he's a U.S. Army Ranger, and he was like, "Man, what are you doing over there? Like, why are you over there? What's going on? Make sure you're safe."
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Man, like, I go over there. I'm a black male. Um, they treat me well here." Um,
Mm.
so it was like I didn't have any problems while I was out there
Okay.
as an American.
Okay.
I think
Really?
the only and interesting enough, the more time you spend over there, like people they just look at you as an American. They don't look
Mhm.
at you as whether you're black or white or whatever. So I didn't run into those challenges when I was in Belgrade. Interesting.
Mm.
And I'll circle back to that story, but it's like I'd go over there and they'd want to talk, sports, and they want to talk America, and they want to talk things like that. And it was like, oh wow, I'm actually mean like a black American. And
Right.
so I'd always be on the plane going over, and it's maybe myself or
Right.
maybe one other person.
Okay.
Um, so it was always interesting. And then getting over there, the people were always nice. you know they speak English. They're Serbian, they speak Serbian,
Oh.
and they speak English too.
Okay, cool. I
you
didn't
know
know that.
some people have better English than others, but
Right.
they speak it. And the weather was similar in the US. I'd probably put it to something like maybe the Washington D.C.,
Mm-hmm.
where sometimes it can get really hot and humid.
Mm-hmm.
Other times it can get kind of pretty chilly and pretty cold. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but the weather's nice. The people were relatively nice. Nothing bad to say about them. It's interesting. Eating food there was interesting because we'd go out and you could eat for like 30, 45 minutes straight. And then 30 minutes after you ate, you felt like you never ate before.
Oh, ooh, I wouldn't say. Ooh, I don't know how you.
So but why I say that is that's the difference between what happens here in the US.
Right, right.
You eat over here, and then next thing you know, you get sleepy and you get tired,
That
and
itis.
chemicals and stuff like that. And over there, things are a bit more pure. For whatever
Mm,
reason, I haven't researched it, don't know it, but yeah, you can go over there and eat. Things are a lot more, they're made pure. So
mhm,
you get over there, they've got, regular foods, things like that. It's more based around culture than it
mhm,
is different cuisines or types of food. Like, um, we went to a place, been to a place called a kafana.
mhm,
Kafana is like an old school kind of Serbian restaurant slash cafe.
mhm,
So, you're in and they bring you these big plates of like meats and, potatoes. And
mm,
it's all grilled or barbecue or whatever, what they call barbecue, which is primarily grilled.
mhm,
And,
mhm.
it's really good, man. And, they don't do too much in terms of vegetables and salads. So
Meat and potato, meat and potato.
if you're kind of, yeah, meat and potatoes. So if you are kind of a vegan vegetarian, it's going to be a bit of a challenge to go out
Mhm,
there.
mhm,
Um, but you can still try to find something on the menu that'll work for you.
mhm,
But yeah, it's the culture is great. The people were actually really really nice. They've got this drink called rakia.
mhm.
Rakia is kind of like moonshine, I guess. What
Mm.
we would kind of make it similar to be.
Uh-huh,
Uh,
uh-huh.
a lot of Eastern European countries actually have these to where people make their own rakia,
Mhm,
and it can also be commercialized, but you can make it in different flavors like apple, grape, or all different types of flavors. And sometimes it could just be regular and
mhm.
like moonshine.
Right,
And
right.
so that was always interesting. That was good stuff, having some drinking people. I obviously got a lot of beer. Beer is fantastic. Probably the beer is probably better in London than it is in Belgrade. But
Yeah, yeah.
alcohol is better in Belgrade, and then whatever. London's more expensive. Belgrade is much cheaper. Uh,
Mhm.
but then you go to Belgrade, and they've also got, it's big in terms of soccer and basketball. You know,
You said basketball? I know soccer, but basketball?
Yeah, it's a it's the basketball hub of
I did
Eastern
not
Europe.
know that.
Yeah, so I think I want to say Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks
Luca.
is from Serbia.
Yes.
There's a list of NBA players right now in the NBA that are from Serbia.
Uh,
Jokic of Denver Nuggets, he's from there. So
Jokic.
they really the culture is a bit different because once you turn 14, you can choose to either go to the university and go study in academia,
Mhm.
or you can go to professional sports and follow soccer and basketball or whatever else going on. So they've got a huge basketball culture there, huge soccer culture over there.
Mhm.
Big teams over there are Red Star, Partisan,
Okay.
um, and people. It's a diehard type of culture too. So it's
Yeah.
not like, hey, I kind of like one, I kind of like the other. You like one or you like the other. There is no.
Right.
Um, and I enjoyed my time over there. I think yeah, Belgrade's a great city. It's interesting, and yeah, it's interesting. I enjoyed it, man. I loved it. Learned a lot of the culture. Learned a bit of the language. Um, was able to kind of read it okay while I was there. Uh,
Uh,
Speaking it is a whole different thing because I don't really have that language trait or characteristic.
well, do you know a word? Do you know a word that you can teach us, like a thank you or a hello or
Uh,
yes or a no?
yeah, I want to say Dobar Don was good afternoon, I believe.
What is it? Dobar Don?
Dobar Don, Dobo Utro was good morning. Um, Yeah, I think that's the extent of it.
That-
I have to say,
All that time out there.
man, dude, that was I got to say that had to be at least 2020 now, 5 years.
Uh,
Yeah, at
oh,
least.
okay, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a different language, so you probably don't hear Serbia instead of you
I
probably
don't
only.
have, I don't, I mean, I've now granted, I run across quite a bit of people from Serbia here in the US.
Okay,
So
okay,
can, by name, I can kind of know if they're from that area or not.
okay, okay.
It's, yeah, it's interesting, man. It was fun. I had a good time, and Serbia was exciting.
How long is that flight from? I'm assuming you went from LAX. How
Yeah,
long is that flight?
yeah, well, sometimes I would fly LAX to Chicago, Chicago to Frankfurt, Frankfurt to
Mm.
Belgrade,
Oh,
or,
two layovers. Ooh.
or LA to Frankfurt, and then Frankfurt to
Mm.
Belgrade. And so that flight can be anywhere from 14 to 16 hours.
Yeah, yeah, that's a nice little flight. And then, far as visa, do Americans need visa to go to Serbia?
You need just your passport, just your passport. So you don't necessarily
Good.
or anything like that. Just your passport is good.
Cool. That's always good because I know sometimes different countries you're required to have a passport or not a passport, but a visa prior to coming. You got to do all this paperwork and go to the embassy. It's a whole bunch of rigmarole.
We didn't have
But yes,
passport.
okay, cool, cool. That's easy. So just if you want to go to Serbia, all you need is your passport. So you don't need anything extra other than that. And then far as let's see in Serbia, what about the people far as like is it like dress requirements for like the ladies or how is Serbia? Because I don't know too much about it. Or
It's primarily Americanized.
it's Americanized.
Yeah, it's kind of Americanized. Jeans, t-shirts.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of pretty relaxed for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah, it's sort of pretty Americanized.
Okay. So I know you don't, I know you like to go with the, you a foodie like myself. So for those folks who like to do the tourist stuff or the activities and excursions, what do you know about Serbia that you can recommend them to do?
Gosh, I'd go to the castle. Kalamegdan is a castle that's there, so it's like
Mm-hmm.
an old time castle. It's kind of the big tourist attraction that they have there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they also have obviously go catch, a soccer game, go catch a basketball game,
Mm-hmm.
kind of experience. Go into Old Belgrade. A lot of the streets are cobblestone streets,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. And then obviously, if you go into a kafana, which is kind of a traditional restaurant, you get the whole band. You get the accordion players, and they come in and they play songs, and you get there's a lot of smoke, so you're able to smoke inside of restaurants. So
Like the hookah?
you call it hookah, you can call it cigarettes, you can call it whatever you want. there's a, there's a lot of cigarette smoke, um, which is interesting enough, but you really get the full culture of it.
Mm-hmm.
Rakia and accordion music, and the small family bands playing things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just part of the culture, you know.
Right, right, right. Yeah, man. Serbia sounds like a lot of fun. As far as like the demographics in terms of people, what are they? Is it like dark skinned folks out there, light skinned folks? Is just
Um,
they're not like a melting pot like
It's not a
London.
melting pot of people. It's Eastern Europeans. So
Mm-hmm.
in the U.S. Yeah, Eastern Europeans.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
that's kind of it. I'd probably say that's 95% of what you're going to find there.
Okay. Okay. And is there anything that you wish you would have done or seen or ate or anything like that?
While I was there, um, I probably would have preferred to hop over to maybe um, Bosnia or Montenegro. That's not too far.
Okay. Okay.
That a bit, and then there's also a few music festivals that go on in Croatia.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Really, 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 really big.
Mm-hmm.
So they rival Coachella here in the U.S.
Oh,
So
wow. Yeah.
yeah, so it's like, and it's not traditional Eastern European music either. It's popular,
Mm-hmm.
hip hop, rock music that's going out to Croatia in the summertime. So
Mm.
one summer I was out there, and like I'll say Mobb Deep was due to perform, Cypress Hill was due to perform. Like
Wow.
it was like real hip hop acts that were going out to Croatia in the summertime.
Wow. Yeah, hip hop everywhere, man. It's global.
Yeah.
Which is cool. What about the local transportation in Serbia? What was it? Uber, just like little bus, little taxis, or how you get around?
Taxis. Yeah,
Okay.
for the most
Yeah.
part, it's hopping in taxis.
Taxis. And far as the what's the name of the currency there?
Um, Shoot, I forget. Hold on, let me see if I have some.
Yeah, see, and I know a lot of travelers. We're collectors too. Everywhere we go somewhere, we always got to bring back some souvenirs, trinkets, or what have you. So as he's looking for it, because I try to keep dollar bills or whatever from different countries. So and it's funny how our dollar bills are all the same color, but when you go to a different country, their dollar bills is rainbow. So you got pinks and yellow bills and blue bills and purple bills. So.
On it
Uh,
on me. I can't. I don't know where I put it. I have like a couple of leftover. Oh, here. Yeah, right here.
so that's a Serbian. How much? That's 1,000. How much is that worth in American money?
This is probably like $3, $2,
$3.
$3. It's like $2, $3, something like that.
But y'all see how the money, and that's in every other country that I can think of. The money is a little more decorated, special, and got different colors and whatnot. It looks. I like it. I mean, America, we need to switch, do something different. I guess I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Um,
It's a lot of dollars, so man, you're not familiar with it a little bit.
right. And then let me see. Far is any dislikes, anything that you did not like about Serbia?
Nah, not really, man. Not really.
Nah.
Um, yeah, there's really nothing I didn't like. They've got a good little lake area. Um, so it's inland, so they've got man-made lakes. They've got some
Hmm.
restaurants on the lakes. The food is really fantastic. The people were really really nice. There's growing commerce there and tech commerce and businesses.
Hmm. Hmm.
I really liked it a lot. Um,
Mm.
it's interesting because you weren't really treated. I won't say it's. Yeah, I'll say it. Shit. Kind of as a black man, when you go to certain areas, you don't necessarily know how you're going to be treated. And
Hmm.
there's a difference between being black and being African. And
Hmm.
if you're a black American, which is how they view you,
Hmm.
sometimes you'll get treated a different way. In Belgrade, I didn't experience any racism. I didn't experience anything like that.
Okay.
I didn't experience any negatives of being either black or American while I was there.
Okay.
Any
Okay.
challenges. I didn't have any challenges. There's black people that are on the basketball teams out there. Uh,
Mm.
there's
Hmm.
black people that live there. So people are familiar with that. I think the only place in Europe that I really experienced a racist incident would be London. Matter of fact, like
Mm.
I was surprised, but it was interesting enough. Like me and another two coworkers were going into, we were just walking through Soho, which is an area in London, and
Hmm.
there was a bar that was open, and so we were going to go in the bar and have drinks. And then the doorman, he was like, and I don't remember the name. The doorman
Hmm.
was like, yeah, you guys can't come in here. But it was okay. And it was like, oh, why can't we come in there? And he was like, yeah, you guys can't come here, but I can tell you guys where you guys can go.
Mm.
So he was just like, hey, there's a bar kind of around the corner or whatnot. You guys can go to and go check that out. And we were like, okay, well, whatever. I'm not gonna beg people to take my money, so it's okay. And
Hmm.
I wasn't the only black person, but it was like, okay, we're not gonna beg you to take our money. It is what it is.
Right.
And then we went around the corner and went to the other bar, and they were playing hip hop, and there were black people in there.
Hmm.
And thinking back on it at the end of the night, it was like, yeah, when you looked in, it was only like white people, and and people of that demographic. So, that was the interesting thing about London for me, is
Hmm.
there is a bit of segregation in terms of places.
Hmm. Hmm.
If you don't know, then you just don't know.
Right,
And
right.
then other places are completely wide open. One time we went to an underground kind of party, and everybody was in like neon, and it was wild, and all races and all people and all stuff like that, which was interesting and cool.
Hmm.
But yeah, in Belgrade, I didn't have any problems when I was there, man.
Belgrade, no problem. Being traveling as a black man in general, as a black man traveling the world, being in different countries and whatnot. Do you experience anything, whether it's being a black man or being an American? Do you experience any troubles or struggles with that, or is pretty
I
much
really,
love?
I really haven't. I haven't. I mean, yeah, I haven't. I haven't had really any issues. I think that London incident was probably the only
Hmm.
issue I had in all the years I've been traveling.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, no issues at all, man. It's interesting. I mean, uh, I guess if you carry yourself a certain way, um,
Hmm.
people start to understand that, hey, most of these places are traveler friendly too. So they don't
Right,
want,
right.
they don't every and most of the people that are there are typically from somewhere else. So
Hmm. Hmm.
it's kind of a hodgepodge of people, and you come across as friendly, people will treat you
Yeah.
that way. Um,
Hmm.
so I haven't had any problems of that sort, but that's
Right.
just my experience.
Right. And everybody got different experiences. And I know my experience traveling, I can't say that I had any like racial issues as far as being black in other countries. I probably have more have more issues here in America
Oh,
than I do.
definitely.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Then in other
For sure.
countries, it's like they always showed me love every time as a black man, especially when I was in Chile. No, Chile is not a melting pot. It's just straight Chileans. They all just look alike, light skinned, fair skinned folks. So when I was there, I stood out like a sore thumb,
Yeah.
but it was all love. I'm pretty sure some folks got their little situations or what have you, but far as being exposed to it, I've always had good encounters. And it being American, I think folks like Americans because we are like a rich country or what have you, a strong country. So they always want to know, how is it in America? What do you got? And they always think we rich too. They always think we got money, especially when you say you from California too. So that's another one of those things. Like you say you from America, then California, you got bread. So they want to be attached to you some way somehow.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like, and I always ask about that stuff when I go to different areas. Like I was in Calgary in Canada.
Hmm.
They were kind of giving me the lay of the land. So it's like split into quadrants, kind of, I guess.
Hmm.
It won't unspoken quadrants, but it's like one area is kind of like an area where the Native Americans are
Hmm.
kind of looked down upon.
Hmm.
You have an area to where kind of the poor white people are
Hmm.
in the city. And then you have an area to where it's kind of a mix of people who are just kind of in the city, kind of middle class individuals, the working people, and then you have an area of
Hmm.
kind of well-to-do people. So it's more of a class structure and less of a racial structure. But when I was
Hmm.
there, I had saw some things on the news in terms of, because there's a good African population that's based in Calgary. Because
Mm.
it's a big oil and gas industry, and so if you're in oil
Okay.
and gas and you studied oil and gas, that's kind of where you migrate to. And so
Okay.
people of African descent had been, experienced racism or weren't allowed in certain clubs or restaurants. But interesting enough, the places that are closely tied to the United States probably have more racist incidents than places that are not. It's strange. Like I would have thought that, because growing up, we're like, oh, we're in America and everything's kind of mixed and blah 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 blah. But then the countries that I've either heard of or experienced it
Mhm.
were London,
Mhm.
England,
Mhm.
and that's closely tied to the U.S. and then
Right, right.
which is closely tied to the U.S. And then if you
Mhm.
go down
Mhm.
to Mexico, you don't experience any. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
don't know. That's just my experience.
That's all we can speak from is from our experience. So that's our truth. So with that being said, before we catch this flight back to our home airports, any last things you'd like to touch on in Serbia before we head on back?
No, I think I would just for your listeners, I would just encourage people to travel to experience different cultures, to
Mm-hmm.
understand how you get treated in different areas, maybe even buy property in some of these different countries, to retire at. Actually, I love watching HGTV and all those shows too, and DIY, Destination America, all those cities. I think there's a lot to be offered in a lot of different countries. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've had friends, coworkers, move over to Amsterdam and Germany and France and Portugal and Spain and different. I just had a buddy who just moved over to Japan and China and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. So I, another buddy moved to Panama, which is interesting. So it's I'd explore, take the chance to explore, take the chance to see it. If you like it, buy some property in the area and go from there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think that's great advice right there. Especially I'm taking notes in my mind. I'm like property, I like that. I like that a lot. Travel, property, have yeah, we can do that. But yeah, so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, all my travelers out there, it looks like we have to catch a flight back home. So hopefully y'all got a good some good information, some good knowledge on what Serbia is about. Got some souvenirs you can take back home with you. And with that being said, as we are heading back, we have one last segment, Ray. So I'm gonna ask you a list of questions, and it's the lightning round. So it's rapid fire, quick, 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 quick. Sense of urgency. You already know what it is, and you can only answer in one word answers. All right, no sentences and long winded answers. So let me see here. Let me get ready. So I'm ready now. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Vamonos. So question number one: what is your favorite airline?
United,
What's your favorite hotel?
Hilton,
What's your favorite cruise line?
Carnival,
What's your favorite state?
California,
What's your favorite country?
the United States.
What's your favorite hotel booking site?
Oh, Hilton.com,
What's your favorite flight booking site?
United.com.
What's the one thing you must bring on all your trips?
My passport,
Where do you want to go next?
Bermuda,
What other state would you live in?
Florida,
What other country would you live in?
hmm, Puerto Rico.
That's a good one,
No,
Puerto Rico.
that's a state.
It's a territory. It's a territory. It's
I'd
yeah.
say I'd say I'd go to Bermuda. Bermuda.
Bermuda. Okay, okay. And last but not least, what is your favorite travel podcast?
Oh, this one, my man. This one, yours.
Great answer, great answer, great answer. The Global Travel Podcast. That's what I like to hear. That's what I'm talking about. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the home airport. So, like I said, I hope y'all got some great information, a lot of knowledge about Serbia and other places to travel as well. And then Ray, my frat brother, yo, Noop, you already know, man. Much appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Definitely. Thank you for having me on. Enjoyed
Of
it.
course. So anytime, bro. Anytime. And then make sure y'all follow Ray. You got IG. You can hit him on what? Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or something. I'm gonna put all his information.
On Twitter, it's Ray MC209.
Mm-hmm.
RAY MC209. On Instagram, it's Ray RAY, the letter T,
Mm-hmm.
McKenzie. Or you can always find me on LinkedIn as well, Raymond Mckenzie.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna also put that information in the video, put it in the description. So if y'all got some more questions, if y'all want to follow up with him, ask more questions about Serbia or Canada or where, any more food questions, that's always cool too. So yeah, just hit him up, follow him, and see what's going on that end. And then I need your attention, your undivided attention to all my travelers now. The plane is now descending, so I need you back into your seats. I need you buckled up, trays up, seats in an upright position. So before we land, Ray, if you can give our listeners one last piece of travel advice, what would that be?
Uh, Enjoy the moment. That's the big thing, which is enjoy the experience. So whenever you take a trip, your goal should always be to come back with at least one story and focus on whatever that story is. That can be a restaurant, that could be a club, it could be a bar, it could be a spa experience, it could be just the entire trip itself. Focus on the moment, and enjoy the trip.
Mm. Beautiful. Well said. As y'all can listen and hear, focus on the moment and enjoy it. Enjoy the moment. Be here, be present, be in the now. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for flying here with us at the Global Travel Podcast. We are now landed. You can safely unbuckle your seatbelts, grab your belongings, and exit the cabin. Thank you for flying here with us again, and see you on our next trip. If you would like to be a guest on our show and tell us about your travel experiences, then leave us a comment in the comment section below so we can reach out to you. Also, if you have any countries, states, or cities that you'd like us to review, please let us know so we can plan a trip there. Lastly, if you got some good value today and liked our podcast, please hit the like button and click subscribe so you can travel with us again next time. So subscribe right now because you don't want to miss the next trip. With that being said, over and out.